Surviving in the mountains requires a combination of preparation, knowledge of the environment, and practical skills. Mountains can present various hazards, including extreme weather, rough terrain, and limited resources. Number 10. Preparation and planning. Research the area. Study maps. Familiarize yourself with topographic maps of the area. Know the locations of trails, water sources, and potential hazards. Weather patterns. Understand the weather patterns of the region. Mountain weather can change rapidly, and being aware of typical conditions can help you prepare adequately. Pack essential gear. Clothing. Pack appropriate clothing for layering, including thermal underwear, a moisture-wicking base layer, insulating mid-layers, and waterproof outer layers. Don't forget a warm hat, gloves, and sturdy, waterproof boots. Survival gear. Carry a first aid kit, multi-tool, map and compass, or GPS, fire-starting materials, flashlight or headlamp, and emergency shelter such as a bivy sack or space blanket. Food and water. Pack high-energy, non-perishable food items such as nuts, dried fruits, energy bars, and jerky. Bring enough water to last your trip, along with a means of water purification. Number 9. Navigation and orientation. Use navigation tools. Map and compass. Always carry a detailed map and a reliable compass. Know how to use them to navigate the terrain. Practice map reading and compass skills before heading into the mountains. GPS devices. While GPS devices can be helpful, do not rely solely on them. Batteries can die, and signals can be lost, especially in dense forests or deep valleys. Landmark identification. Natural landmarks. Identify and use natural landmarks such as peaks, ridges, rivers, and valleys to orient yourself. Familiarize yourself with the landscape before you start your journey. Trail markers. Follow established trails and pay attention to trail markers and signs. These can help keep you on the right path and prevent getting lost. Number 8. Finding and purifying water. Locate water sources, streams and rivers. Look for streams, rivers, and lakes. Snow can also be a water source, but it requires melting. Avoid stagnant water as it is more likely to be contaminated. Rain collection. Use tarps, ponchos, or other materials to collect rainwater. You can also use containers to catch dripping water from leaves and rocks. Purify water. Boiling. Boil water for at least 3 minutes to kill pathogens. Boiling is one of the most effective methods of purification. Filtration. Use a portable water filter to remove bacteria, protozoa, and particulates. Make sure to choose a filter that is rated for the types of contaminants you may encounter. Chemical treatment. Use water purification tablets or drops containing iodine or chlorine. Follow the instructions carefully to ensure the water is safe to drink. Number 7. Building a shelter. Natural shelters. Caves and overhangs. Look for natural shelters such as caves, rock overhangs, and large tree roots. These can provide immediate protection from the elements. Tree shelters. Lean branches against a tree to create a makeshift shelter. Cover the branches with leaves, pine needles, or a tarp for insulation. Constructing a shelter. Debris hut. Build a debris hut by stacking branches and covering them with leaves, moss, and other insulating materials. Ensure the shelter is small enough to retain body heat but large enough for you to fit inside. A frame shelter. Create an A-frame shelter by propping a long branch between 2 trees and leaning shorter branches against it to form an A shape. Cover the frame with leaves and other insulating materials. Number 6. Starting a fire. Gathering materials. Tinder. Collect dry leaves, grass, bark, and other fine, easily ignitable materials. Birch bark and dry pine needles are excellent choices. Kindling. Gather small sticks and twigs to feed the fire once the tinder is burning. Fuel. Collect larger branches and logs to sustain the fire. Ensure the wood is dry to avoid excessive smoke and difficulty in maintaining the fire. Fire starting methods. Matches and lighters. Carry waterproof matches and a reliable lighter. Store them in a waterproof container to keep them dry. Fire starters. Bring fire starters such as cotton balls soaked in petroleum jelly or commercial fire starting blocks. These can help get a fire going quickly in damp conditions. Fire building techniques. Practice different fire building techniques such as the teepee, log cabin, and lean-to methods. Each has its advantages depending on the conditions and available materials. Number 5. Staying warm clothing and layering. Base layer. Wear moisture-wicking clothing to keep sweat away from your skin. This layer should fit snugly and be made of synthetic or wool materials. Insulating layer. Use insulating layers such as fleece or down jackets to retain body heat. Multiple thin layers are more effective than one thick layer. Outer layer. Wear a waterproof and windproof outer layer to protect against rain, snow, and wind. Ensure it is breathable to allow moisture to escape. Body heat conservation. Shelter. Spend as much time as possible in your shelter to conserve body heat. Close off any openings to keep the warmth inside. Movement. Stay active to keep your body temperature up. Perform light exercises like jumping jacks or jogging in place if it's safe to do so. Heat packs. Carry chemical heat packs in your emergency kit. Activate them and place them in your pockets or near your core to add extra warmth. Number 4. Signaling for help. Visual signals. Signal fires. Build 3 signal fires in a triangle or straight line. The smoke and flames can be seen from a distance and are a recognized distress signal. Mirrors. Use a signal mirror to reflect sunlight and create flashes that can be seen from far away. Aim the flashes at passing aircraft or high points where people may be watching. Auditory signals. Whistles. Carry a whistle in your emergency kit. Blowing 3 short blasts is an internationally recognized distress signal. Shouting. Use your voice to call for help, but conserve your energy and avoid straining your voice. Shout intermittently to ensure you can continue for a longer period. Number 3. First aid and health management. Treating injuries, cuts and scrapes. Clean wounds with clean water and apply antiseptic. Cover with a sterile bandage to prevent infection. Sprains and strains. Use the RICE method, rest, ice, compression, elevation, to manage sprains. Create a splint if necessary to immobilize the injury. Hypothermia. Recognize the signs of hypothermia, such as uncontrollable shivering, confusion, and slurred speech. Warm the person gradually using blankets, warm liquids, and body heat. Managing illness. Altitude sickness. Descend to a lower altitude if you experience symptoms like headache, nausea, dizziness, and shortness of breath. Rest and hydrate to help your body acclimate. Dehydration. Drink plenty of water, even if you do not feel thirsty. Symptoms of dehydration include dark urine, dry mouth, and dizziness. Number 2. Food and nutrition. Foraging for food. Edible plants. Learn to identify edible plants in the region. Common options include wild berries, nuts, and certain greens. Always verify that a plant is safe before consuming it. Insects. Insects such as ants, grasshoppers, and crickets can be a valuable source of protein. Avoid brightly colored or strong-smelling insects, as they may be toxic. Hunting and fishing. Fishing. Use improvised fishing gear or fashion a spear to catch fish in streams and lakes. Look for calm, shallow areas where fish are likely to be found. Trapping. Set simple traps and snares to catch small game. Position traps along animal trails or near water sources where animals are likely to pass. Cooking food. Fire cooking. Cook food over an open fire to ensure it is safe to eat. Boiling, roasting, and grilling are effective methods. Portable stoves. If you have a portable stove, use it to cook food and boil water. Make sure to use it in a well-ventilated area. Number 1. Psychological resilience. Mental preparation. Stay positive. Maintain a positive attitude. Optimism can enhance your ability to cope with stress and make rational decisions. Set goals. Set small, achievable goals each day to keep yourself motivated and focused. Celebrate each success to boost morale. Mindfulness and relaxation. Deep breathing. Practice deep breathing exercises to calm your mind and reduce anxiety. Focus on slow, steady breaths. Meditation. Use meditation techniques to maintain mental clarity and reduce stress. Find a quiet spot and focus on your breath or a calming image. Staying connected. Talk to yourself. Verbalize your thoughts and plans. Talking to yourself can help you stay focused and reduce feelings of isolation. Imaginary conversations. Engage in imaginary conversations with loved ones to maintain a sense of connection and support.